Clash Royale has officially revived the Void spell. I am not clickbaiting you guys. The Void spell is actually viable again. Now, it's, not as good as it used to be. Obviously, if you do remember that. If you don't, I'll give you a refresher. It used to take half of the Royal Giant's health bar off. And also like 1-tap or 2-tap every single range unit in the game. Like Xyz, eye drags. Yeah, if that sounds broken, it's because it literally was the best card in Clash Royale for a significant period of time. We'll actually use the Void here to get rid of this E-Drag. I'm not actually sure if I was going to retarget onto the... See, it doesn't quite kill that, but I think that's because it's level 15, and that was level 16, so it would have killed that. But one, I'm not spending a bunch of money to max this deck. One, because I don't want to spend any money on the game at all, except for, like, buying me and my girl the Passerelle. Right, that's valid. But... I don't want to spend money on the cards that, might not be... I don't want to spend money on cards, period. Okay? Much less when this is still early in the season. So people are trying to figure out what decks are best with the heroes. What decks are best to counter the heroes. So there's a lot of, like, different types of new decks going around, and so maybe this won't be the best Void deck at the end of the season, but right now this Void deck both Ian and Dominic used to push to #1 in the world. Now unfortunately I got the Giant, which I will never be using ever, except to maybe clip farm. Can I even clip farm with this card? I don't really know, but yeah, I unfortunately can't really use the Giant and don't want to use the Giant, so I won't be using the Giant. See how that works. And don't have the Hero Knight on this account. I do have the Hero Knight on my other account, but it's not high enough in Trophy Road or Ranked right now to play it. I will push eventually. If I maybe return to streaming, I won't give any comments on that. But the Hero Knight is supposed to be in this deck, which is where I'm getting to. It's just I don't have him, and I'm not spending $20 on him. So we're not using him. But he would be making this deck a lot better. Now let's use the Goblins, or the Void, to get the Goblinstein out of here, which is really nice because with the Zap, I can spend what is 5 Elixir. But to be fair, for a lot of support troops, if you're overspending 1 elixir to get rid of it, that's hardly like a bad deal a lot of the time, where I'd say like maybe against a musketeer I'm spending Void and Zap to get rid of it, because usually at least the first time you play the Void, you play the Void and it gets the 1-tap damage, and then your opponent's like, oh my god, I need to react to this, and then they stop it, right? But that doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes they take 2 1-tap hits, sometimes they take none. If you're a little predictable with it, they'll predict it, but you can avoid that by just like being a little bit more careful with when you play your Voids. But you're usually always going to get at least the 1-tap out of it. So paired with the Zap, you're going to be able to kill pretty much every fireballable unit in the game. Okay, so we're starting off this. How often is this a play? Like, because I don't play Trophy Road as much as probably most of you guys. How often do we just P.E.K.K.A the back first play? Like, is that just a thing? Also, that did not, like, my voice just glitched. That wasn't like a mic problem. It literally just glitched. I don't know. But typically, I was about to say the bro, Omar, what the dude? Okay, let's fix this. The E-Wiz, like 3 for 4 is low-key. I'd be voiding things like that all the time. 'Cause 3 for 4, not bad at all. I kind of make sure that I don't. The E-Wiz, the stun, the zappy. Usually the rate of somebody playing a reset card right behind their P.E.K.K.A when I eye drag is pretty high, so I like to go not usually lava in front of the eye drag, because they usually have E-Wizzes or E dragons. Oh my god. So the one time that I don't do it because I was scared of an E-Wiz, it would have been good for me to do it. But typically, if you do want to be safer and you are maybe not as experienced with Lava Hound, or you just any Void deck, to be honest, any eye drag deck, you kind of don't want to play your eye drag super high up, because it's going to be easier for them to counter. The lower the eye drag, the harder it is to deal with, especially because you have time to react, you have time to put other things on the counter to your eye drag, and of course, big spells aren't great at dealing with the, wait, does that even... Okay, it does, wow. Okay. Void plus Zap, pretty solid combo right now. I can't think of, off the top of my head, anything I'd rather have with the Void spell. Void plus Evo Zap. It's kind of a pretty good combo, I'd say. I can't think of any others. I'm gonna Tombstone just right up top because I do want to stall that out, and he had the Rage, which is fine. You'll get one little measly Ram Rider hit. Now, with both our Evos in cycle, we can finally start our first Lava Loon push. It's gonna actually do some pretty decent work. Okay, so I'm gonna get the iDrag going here. I could always Knight a Loon opposite lane, depending on what he plays. I think, yes, he would Fisherman to protect that. To be honest, I don't care. You're going to have to... Oh, jeez. Oh, good lord. Yeah, I don't have a good feeling about this one, Chief. Mr. Santee. Yeah, Evo iDrag is a card that you should absolutely try and get your hands... Or an Evo you should absolutely try and get your hands on. In case you can't tell, it does kind of just instantly win you Trophy Road games. To be fair, I think I would have won this regardless, but, yeah. Okay, I will attempt to pronounce this guy's name. No, I won't. Okay. Alright, Prince. I don't have a problem with Princes, to be honest. I know a lot of people do, but as a Tombstone user, I do have a problem with that card. Okay, well, no more Mother Witch, which is usually, why do, every time I say Witch, every time I say Mother Witch, Night Witch, Normal Witch, I follow it up with Witch, the word Witch. I do that all the time, and I don't know why I do that all the time. It just happens. But anyways, Princes, don't usually have a problem with them with this deck. I honestly don't have a problem with a lot of ground-based decks using Lava Loon. The only thing I'd think of is probably Boss Bandit Mini P.E.K.K.A. That can be kind of a pain in the ass. But other than that, most defense is pretty easy with this deck in the Trophy Road specifically, because a lot of them play the same type of ground spammy beatdown decks that don't make a ton of sense but are reasonably easy to defend. So here I'll just I'll probably just void the Mother Witch immediately. Not too big of an issue. If he spell, okay, we got a last chance, or last, I'm just gonna stop talking. Now he could have like a Mega Knight, right? But I don't really care too much. I think I just go Lava here, and then whatever he plays, depending on how much he commits, I will just go with the Knight. Because to stop pushes with Lava Loon, the best thing you can do against them is to force out Elixir. So usually when you see a Lava Hound player, you want to apply opposite lane pressure to them, or same lane pressure if you're playing like Expo or something, to make it so that I can't like just full back up my Lava push. I'm kind of just cycling a Zap there because I don't have too much else I need to play or want to play behind that right now. So yeah, I mean, usually you can commit as at my end of it, you can commit like a Knight to defense, but I don't want to go with more than a Knight. If I have to overspend more than a Knight on the defense, I would rather just play defense instead of going Lava Hound at all, if that makes sense. So let's charge up our Evo iDrag here if we can. A little bit, and then we can go in with our Lava Hound here. Now, it's probably... Void is good. Void is better than it looks right now, because I do have an under-leveled Void, if that makes sense at all. My Void is a little bit under-leveled. Please? Sorry, I don't know what the hell I was going to say, please speed, I need this. But, I mean, my Void is a little under-leveled, and it's still putting in some pretty decent work, so that's good. Messes up the Mother Witch on my iDrag. That would have killed the iDrag if he didn't mess it up. But, instead, we're going to end up taking that whole tower. But let's assume I wasn't going to end up taking that whole tower. That's why I went with the Loon in the opposite lane that he wouldn't have been able to defend. It's something I'm always looking at, is keeping track of my opponent's air counters and defending or going in on offense based on what air counters they have in cycle. Obviously, I don't want to be going massive Lava Loon pushes into things like Executioner Evo, E-Drag Evo. So the best way people are always like, hey, how do you counter, or how do you play against those decks? I just don't push into them, or I will go Lava Hound to get it out of them and then just play nothing else with the Lava Hound. Now that can be dangerous because they can get like counter pushes, right? But as long as you prepare to deal with the counter push and you don't go with anything else into that, you just have to avoid those cards. And usually people will just sit on them and not like play them. You can't like bait them out. But that's kind of what my Lava is doing. Like, I would want to go Lava into an Evo E-Drag or into an Xe to get it out of cycle, and then my next push will be easier to deal with, right? Or easier to get through to the tower, if that makes sense. Now, I'm surprised we haven't faced more Witches today, because Witch is the biggest pain in my ass ever. Okay, this is more like it. This is more like the mid ladder we're looking for, baby. Okay, so Void's gonna take out the Witch, which is chill. See, why do I always do that? Why do I always do that? Why do I always do that? I don't get it. I actually don't understand why I keep doing that. We're gonna get a lot of Lava Pup damage here, though. That's nice. Some eye drag heating up. Some nice little swings at the tower. Should get a couple of there. We get 3, which is actually way more than I thought we were going to get. Yeah, just Golden Knight freaking ability spam the bridge when I'm at 7 elixir. That's a great idea, homie. We can actually use Void to counter the Goblin Barrel, which I'm not going to do because that would be kind of stupid. I do need it for the Evo Witch. So yeah, it's better to save your spell sometimes, folks. Now, given 1, I'm up 3,400, and 2, he has like Mega Knight and Witch and stuff, I'm not going to go Lava Hound instantly because I don't need to. And 2, I could like just play better defense instead of going in with the lava. Now, a lot of the defense that I like to play is going with aggressive Lava Hounds to like, you know, make it so they have to either pick a tower they can either pick to take my tower or lose their tower. Usually you can't get both. Or if we're in a 1-2 situation, you can kind of like, I can take one and he can take one and I end up winning because I have more. Unfortunately, in this circumstance, it looks like it's going to be the latter. I'd prefer to not take any lose any towers, but that's fine. We'll go zap here off this. Honestly, don't really care if the loon's on that. He has 2 witches on my tower, which is a little scary. But not that scary. We'll just use Tombstone to push it back for a second. We'll kill those. We have enough health to make it not be that big of a deal because he did have that massive balloon push on his tower. Can we splash, guys? Y'all think we could splash? You think we could splash? Thank you. Useless bums. Eat that card. I'm gonna reset his dash. I did not reset his dash. That's the end of the video.